What do you think your biggest constraint is right now?
We're doing pretty well at acquiring customers for the agency. What we are a bit less good at is retaining those clients. And so right now, our biggest issue in the agency is that we have an average retention of around 6 months. And I think if I want to make it a sellable business, I would need to get this to 12 or 18 months. And so right now, I'm trying to do a bit of a pivot to try to increase our retention to 12 months. So I would want to double the retention of our clients.
Now, I'll be very transparent in that I've actually never exited a company. I've had clients exit companies before, so I have been in the world a little bit, and I have spoken to a bunch of PE firms as I've done some consulting work for a lot of them. And ultimately, what they're doing when they're buying a company, I try to think of things as a first principles basis, is they're essentially buying like future cash flow. That's really what they're looking at here, is what they're going to get. They're making a bet that they're going to make more money from this. So if you think of that cash flow, and we can even think of it as net profit, then the levers that you can pull are not just increasing the number of months that people stay with you. In my opinion, increasing the number of months that people stay with you is one of the hardest ways actually to increase enterprise value and to grow your business, because especially in today, man, 6 months from now, who even knows what AI is going to look like and what it's going to be able to do. And so what I'm mostly trying to do, yes, I think it's definitely a great priority to move from 6 to 12 months. But the other question I have to ask myself is there a way, like let's say we're talking about done for you outbound, to go from 6 months to 12 months. So that would be roughly, let's just make it easy, 6 more months. That'd be an extra $30,000. Let's say for easy numbers, you're running at 50% margins on the agency. So that's an extra $15,000 in net profit that you'd be doing by doing that. The question we have to ask ourselves is there a different way that we can get that same additional $15,000 in net profit, but sooner and in a different medium? Meaning either the done with you or the ads or the outbound, can we maybe get ultimately, if we look at 12 months at $5,000 a month, that's 60 grand. We'll go back to 50% margins. That's $30,000 net profit. Can we get $30,000 in net profit per client in less than 12 months? In my opinion, that's really the question that you should be asking, because if you came to me and you only had done for you outbound and you said, here are the stats here, I would probably say, okay, let's focus on going from 6 to 12 months. But because you have these additional offers that you already had a couple of people go through here, what I'd be really more curious about is it possible to pull that cash forward and get that same $30,000 in net profit, but in 3 months or 4 months or 5 months instead of 10, 11, or 12 months? In my opinion, that's way easier based on the data that I see here, number one. And number two, I do think that when it comes to the done for you, either ads and outbound and pure outbound services, like you also have to keep in mind the complexity. I don't know what your team structure is like, but the complexity of an agency as you scale, obviously it's not very exponential, right? The more clients you take on, the more people you have to hire. Where if we were to play around with this done with you and maybe the done with you transitioning to the done for you or something like that, I feel like you'd be able to capture a lot of cash a lot faster without the highest headcount. And so at the end of the day, it's not the biggest, but it's probably one of the number one numbers that these private equity firms are going to be looking at, because they're pretty much saying, how much does it cost me to make money inside this organization? So if you can say, hey, clients stay with me for 6 months instead of 12, but I make the same amount of money as somebody who stays with us for 12 months and I do it in 6 months with less headcount, in my opinion, that's going to make your business more valuable. Does that all make sense to you?
Yeah, complete.
If you want my help installing any of these systems in your business done for you, be sure to book a call with my team down below.